David here. What's going on? Some crazy stuff going on in Bitcoin land. We are moving sideways. In a bit of a wedge pattern at the moment. Just flip to the chart. As you can see here, we're in a bit of a wedge. I'm not much of a chartist, but we can see a 50 moving average coming down to the 200. If that crosses over, they call it a death cross, and not not a great look for the medium term. Um, but saying that, we are seeing volume kind of drop off a bit, and that could mean that there's a potential for a break either way. So it could break down further, or we could have a jump up and potentially push that 50 a bit stronger. It has to happen within the next couple of days though. If we But saying that, if you go back to March last year when the whole shit hit the fan, you can see we had a massive drop off, and we had a death cross happen, and we had a recovery. It was a lot quicker, the recovery after that. It just kind of built up, and we kind of pushed through over the 200 within, what was that? It would have been within about almost 2 months. We were back over the 200 moving average. What does that mean? So that could mean we break down further potentially, and then we carry on up, or we start pushing back up soon. I don't know. There's a lot of FUD going around in the media, so you really you have to you have to be very cautionary. Like if you bought in at the above probably 40,000 mark, you haven't got really you're not in profit anyway. So it's a bit of a you just hold on, hold on, we're going down. Or do you just sell and potentially buy at a sell at a loss and buy back in if it dips lower? Far out. Don't know what I'd do. I bought some higher up, but it's averaged in with some that we bought lower, far lower down. So I'm not too worried if it drops down a little bit further. And if your horizon is quite long, mine is at least a year to 2 years, with the majority of it. If this is the end, and we're going in for a bear market for 1-2 years, then geez, not much we can do. We'll probably drop down a bit further if we look back at what happened after 2017. And it will go sideways for a while and try and take out those all-time highs again, maybe in another 2-3 years. It's a long time to wait. If that money could be made, could be put to use elsewhere, probably good time to decide where you're going with that. But I'm not fully convinced this bull market is over. I don't know if it's just hopium being a bit of moon boyish, or what the go is, but my gut tells me that this is a really good shakeout. It just dropped so hard, so fast, and so many people lost faith in what's going on. And you've got things like the fear greed index has been for a couple of weeks now pretty much in extreme fear mode. It's a hard let's go down. If you have a look there, we hit some pretty low points in the last, I think it was about a week ago, we hit down to 10 there. Yeah, that's people are literally shitting themselves, and you can't really blame them. The hype was unreal. You're seeing all these meme coins just come out. It just seems, to someone who's like, I've only properly invested in crypto for the last couple years, and before that I only traded it, so I never really hung on to it very long. It wasn't a long time sort of position. I was just looking to get in, get out, and take a profit. But I increasingly saw more of a macro advantage to holding it and seeing it as a bit of a, I would say, a risk hedge in my overall portfolio. And then other cryptos like Ethereum, where actually have a more broader use case, I've seen them as more of like something that produces something and has the ability to have a whole ecosystem grow in it, and that's pretty much what's happened. I mean, it's still, Ethereum is showing a lot more strength. If you while it does dip pretty hard, the when it rallies back up, even on like an hourly time frame, you see that when it dips, it's not taking out its lows where Bitcoin is, and when it rallies, it's smashing the short term highs, and it just makes me feel like there's more people participating there, and that could be a really good thing for Bitcoin as well, because a lot of people are probably not paying attention to it and they're moving to altcoins to generate income off, and it could be that Bitcoin just quietly builds momentum and we'll see a bit of a blow off top towards the end of the year. We still have another six plus months left to go, so a lot can happen in that time. Like I feel it could be, and that's just a feeling, but it could be another month or so of a correction or going sideways, going down a bit, a few liquidity grabs maybe to freak everyone out. Because there's those, it's the really the short term, people want to make short term massive gains, going in with huge amounts of leverage. They're getting decimated every time. It's almost like they're getting targeted, and I feel sorry for them, because to a certain degree you sort of hear the narrative that it only goes up, and then you get absolutely smashed, and then you think, oh, it's sold off massively, let's buy in, to get smashed again. It's relentless. But at that same degree, it's probably a really good learning experience, and you'll come out in another year or so and you'll understand a lot more. Probably won't trade it as actively and be more long-term focused like I am. But that doesn't say maybe you're a really good trader. I'm a crap trader. I'm too emotional. I have to write scripts to perform actions because I question myself too much and don't stick to my rules. It's a lot easier to stick to your rules when you have a longer time horizon and you can watch things unfold. Time seems to make decisions a lot easier, or for me anyway. So if I have to decide to get out, if I've got a few days to decide that, it's a lot better than having a few minutes or an hour or so to do it. Then you're sort of freaking out. But it's each their own. It was a journey for me. I lost heaps of money early on trading, and it took me years to get to the point where I could just get myself under control and have risk management down pat, because that's at the end of the day with any of this, you're going to have your risk management really on par, otherwise you're going to get wrecked. But yeah, where is it going forward? It's hard to see. Like zoom out or zoom into, like, let's have a look on the hourly. Yeah, you can see there's a bit of a wedge forming down below. So it looked like this morning it was about to break out, but I think it's still sort of wedging down a little bit. I think it's hitting. If I just turn on some lines, you can see it's hitting a lot of some of those trends go back to way up the top there. Yeah, you can see that comes down, and it bounced off that where it pushed through the short-term hourly trend that it was going down, but then it bounced off that one. So yeah, if it can punch through that, we could be going for at least a journey somewhere between here and the moon. But I think it's important to just be realistic about these things, and you can't expect something to do 100% gains continually in a row without having some decent losses in the meantime, and you need it. I think you do for a healthy market. Sounds a bit cruel, but that's part and parcel with it. Is a free market. You've got to have some people getting wrecked in the midst of it. Where are we going to go? Or where's probably a good place to look into? I'm looking deep into the Ethereum sort of ecosystem to be sort of, but it's not that deep actually. Probably within the top 20 market cap area. Like some of those large cap coins are pretty decent. Like let's have a look. We're actually doing pretty good. Like if you look, we're up over 24. We're up over a week. Where for most things, where was Cardano seems to have slowed down a bit, and you've got Polkadot made a bit of ground in the last 24 hours. But yeah, we've got Dogecoin is it's just hanging in there, and hanging in there. Yeah, I'll probably focus a lot more on like Polygon and some of the layer 2 solutions. Like I think Polygon is great, especially for trading, and especially if you really don't want to deal in large amounts. Like if you're dealing in say $10,000 up, there's no point really using Polygon. Just use the main layer, base layer of Ethereum. But Polygon has that advantage where it is extremely cheap. It's just not as secure. But I think there's gonna, like, if you have a look at what's planned with Ethereum, there's some really interesting updates coming up in the next few months. So we could see some real changes on that base layer. At the moment, fees are cheap. Like it hasn't been this cheap in ages. So if you're planning to do anything that is extremely gas heavy, now is the time. Like it is. Where were we? Look at gas this morning. Wow, 11 grey. Jeez, that's cheap. That is ridiculous. So you can't really complain about that. So even you can do a pretty quick transaction for 18 grey. What? Nuts. Time to mint some NFTs, I think. Back to some of these alts I'll be looking at, like I think I'll Aave. Yeah, I haven't got any position in Aave. I have put a bit of a YOLO in on IOTA, and I think that is going to go nuts at some point. I don't know when, but I think it's going to have a massive, like if you have a look at the chart long term, it has like a real massive Wyckoff pattern sort of forming on it. If you don't know what that is, look it up. Yeah, Thorchain's another one that I really want to have a good look at. I think there's having those cross chain swaps is an awesome addition, especially when you want to get out of BTC in a time like this. You might think that not worth having BTC, even though I much rather have my BTC on Ethereum so I can actually make some income with it. What else is quite interesting? Yeah, I'll probably add some more Compound if prices go down a little bit. Compound and Yearn as well. Yearn's something that I think is definitely quality, and some Link. I've always adding to Link when it's selling off, but I don't know. I've more of a longer term outlook. By longer term, the end of the year. So if it starts to look like it's degrading, the thing is as well, what's sort of given me a little bit of optimism, we still haven't seen that rally to let's go back to the chart there. We still haven't seen that retracement to a key fib level on the daily there. Like we haven't. I would like to see 50, 52 retracement. That would have been a nice level to see if we're really breaking down. So if we gradually cruise up there and take a few months doing so, I think it's a more of an indication that I'll see a higher high. If we went straight up, then and it really hit some serious resistance at the 50s, 52 mark, which is about that 61.8 retracement level, I would seriously consider sort of taking some profits and buying back at a lower low. But then, I might go down a little bit, go down a third, and then continue back up. So you kind of got to have your strategy in place, where you buy, where you sell, and try and stick to that as much as you can. Try and not look at what's getting tweeted out in the tweet verse. So yeah, that's how I'm kind of playing it. Just be cautious, but don't miss out on opportunities as well. If you can get something, look at that. If you think about discount, if that's going up and that's going up to say 100k in the next 6 months, well, I think that's definitely. I think it's a story that could definitely happen. It also could go in that time, going to 100k in the next 6 months. It could also go to 20. So you want to still have some powder dry if it goes to 20. I'm pretty sure Bitcoin is not going away. Definitely not in my lifetime. So if you have opportunities, it's probably worthwhile taking them. I know I will. Hopefully we don't get as rough a ride as what we've had for the last month, but you kind of got to roll with the punches on this one. Hope everyone does okay, and we'll